Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
I have the great pleasure and honor to introduce our speaker today, Sister Pearl Pham, who was ordained in the Vietnamese bamboo forest Zen tradition as a nun in 2019, and previously was serving as a physician's assistant at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Since ordination, Pearl has been in residence at a variety of Zen centers in various traditions, including bamboo forest monasteries, Plum Village monasteries in the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition, and a few years in residence at Soto Zen centers, including Pai Zen Center in New Mexico and Atlanta Soto Zen Center. She received the precepts in the Soto Zen tradition from Joan Halifax a couple years ago. Completed her clinical chaplaincy education at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta fairly recently, has been leading retreats for youth and families all over the southeastern United States. Probably my favorite thing Pearl has been doing is helping to develop deep and warm connections between Minnesota Zen Meditation Center and the Bamboo Forest Zen tradition. And those have been thriving for years, and I'm just so grateful that we get to practice together and for this relationship. So thank you, Pearl.
Thank you, Ben, for a very nice welcoming introductions, and thank you all of you for coming here to be in presence with each other and to practice together. And hello, friends online. I see some familiar faces here and also online. I see Monica there. I saw Barbara, Evan, several people here, and it's so nice to be back again. I think this is my second time to share Dharma talk with you. So, last year I did, and attending the Vietnamese bamboo forest, combining with the Soto Zen Minnesota Zen Center here retreat in March. And whenever I come here, I always feel so connected and belonging. In a sense, it's one part of my practice, one part of my heart. So very happy to be here again with you all. And for me, like being up here is a little bit kind of intimidating or nervous because I don't get used to sit on a like this, like in the center. So really I'm on peripheral and just share in a circle. But this is out of my comfort zone, and I try to be comfortable. So thank you for offering your wonderful smile in the morning and your presence here with me. I would like to kind of bring out my precious spiritual journey book that I jot down things that I carry with me in my heart, and I have a few things to share with you. And normally, like Ben said before, my deep interest in connecting Soto Zen at Minnesota Zen Center and the bamboo forest Zen tradition, Vietnamese tradition. And I'm so glad that we're able to practice together with understanding, supportive, and connection that way. And this is part of my longing aspiration to be a bridge between cultures, East and West, to be a bridge between generation, younger and older generation, parents and children, and to be a bridge of old traditional way and new modern way of practical Zen practice. And so part of that bridge, I was thinking, okay, what should I, think of a topic to share with you today? And I thought this would be nice to share with you because we have something in common and we have something in difference. And that is the Buddhist celebration in the summer month in Asian country that maybe some of you are aware of. And that's called Umlabana Festival. Have you heard of that? Some of you? Yeah, some nod your head, some not yet. It's a festival to celebrate and remember filial love and devotion to one's parents. And this is exactly during this time of the year is the second week, the 15th day of the 7th month in the Lunar New Year. And it's certainly toward the end of the 3 months rainy retreat angles of earlier Buddhist community of practice monks and nuns from everywhere come back together, and they avoid traveling in the summer at the time because they avoid killing insects and other things when they travel through, so they stay together solely with the Buddha as much as possible to practice together deeply for 3 months and not doing much of other work. And that power of practice, that energy is really enormous and powerful in the Sangha together. Kind of like you feel when you come here together, you're sitting together, even if you feel pain a little bit, like I can handle this because other people are sitting around you, support your sitting. And you also want to support others. And you forget about your pain, you focus on concentration again. And so the Sangha practice is so powerful and so good for us that the 3 months of practice become a tradition in early Buddhist practice and even carry now in my tradition. In other, like here, we have summer when they're busy with many activities when the weather is good and the children have off school. So sometimes some monasteries, some traditions, they do not do in the summer, but they said winter as the 3 months winter ango. So deep practice come together, and then summer they have retreats and do activities to serve the community. And so I've been in both of that tradition and see the values of that practice. So the traditions of offering filial love and devotion for our parents who give birth to us, or remember those who care for us and nurture us and love us when we were young, take care of us. We remember them and pay devotion and loving them as much as we can. And that started back in the Buddha times when Buddha's the most senior student, his name, I remember in Vietnamese, Một Kiền Liên, but in kind of Sanskrit and Pali is Mahamoggallana. It's Mahamoggallana. And he is the foremost in having supernatural power at the time. So Buddha advised him not to seek power too much, just be ordinary. That's miraculous already, right? Ordinary in things. But sometimes he uses his power to help people. And there was one day he missed his parents, especially his mother who already passed. And he wondered where his mother. So he used his supernatural power through deep meditative practice and saw his mother in the hell realm. And she was suffering in the hell realm so much. So he used his supernatural power again to come down to the hell realm. I don't know if come down or come across or come up. We don't know what that means. But basically to come to the hell realm, and you can think of whatever that hell realm is, to see his daughter, visit his mother and hopefully help her. So he brought a bowl of very nice food rice to offer to his mother who was a hungry ghost. And his mother saw and so hungry, wanted to devour that food and pick the food. And as soon as she put into her mouth, it's burned and become fire. One after another, she couldn't eat and she cried and she suffered. This happened over and over again. When she take water, it's like boiling steel come out. And she suffers so much. And Mahamoggallana, he also suffered himself seeing the pain in his mother. He did not know what to do. Even his supernatural power could not help his mother because of her misdeed, negative karmic in the past, her past lives. So he went to ask the Buddha. He went back to this world and asked the Buddha, this is the situation. I love my mother so much. Is there any way I can help my mother? And the Buddha sensed his devotion. And the Buddha told him, wait until the end of the 3 months Zen retreat, when all the monks and nuns practice together, purify their mind, body, speech, concentration, develop compassion and wisdom. That's the most powerful energy. And you offer whatever from your heart, flowers, fruits, whatever. You offer from the bottom of your heart with all respect and with devotion to your mother, the love for your mother. And you ask them to share that merits, to share the merits of practice for your mother with the hope that she's awakened from her misdeed and transform her mind and become more purified and good. And so he did that. And all the monks was like in their, stable, stillness, calm, good, pure mind after the practice. And then they dedicate their merits, including to all beings, right? We usually dedicate our merits to all beings to be free from suffering, to be liberated. And so including that, they also think of his mother. And because of that energy channeling, that deep devotion from him for his mother, and then asking the monk to dedicate the merits, his mother was able to feel that energy, sense it, and was so touched and deeply transformed inside her mind. And because that transformation is not the work of the monks, it's not the work of the son, the Maha Moggallana, but it's more of her internal work after that connection, that sensing of energy and feel. She transformed and she repainted her misdeed, and she vowed to live a transformative life. And with that instant, she reborn into the heaven realm. And so Maha Moggallana, he asked the Buddha, is there any way, like, thank you, Buddha, like, is there any way that children who want to devote to their parents and love their parents or loved ones can practice to transfer this merit to help their loved ones? And the Buddha actually have a sutra about this and taught this is the way you should do, especially for your parents and those that deceased and maybe suffer. You offer and transfer the merit to them, especially offering your practice, offering your heart and mind, supporting the monks and nuns who practice, and together offering that merit to one's parents or loved one. And through that energy of connection, somehow the loved one, the deceased one, may be able to feel it and transform. So I don't know if we cannot prove it, right? And in America, in the West here, I think in Zen, we don't talk much about karma or different hell realm or heaven realm. We talk about right now, here and now practice. But that's part of the Buddha Sutra teaching. And so why not we believe it for a moment? And the love that we have for our parents is real, is true. And when our parents get sick, we want to pray for them get well, right? When they die, we also remember, go to the graveyard and connect with them through that energy. So that's there, that's real. So why not we continue that practice? And so in Asian culture, especially Japan, Vietnam, China, we do have that deep connection and devotion and love for our parents. And if we don't, we try to make it happen. We try to connect, we try to love, to really practice for that. So in Vietnam and especially in my country, I only talk about my culture. Before on this time of the year, children or people, even grandparents, older people, they still go to the temple to offer flowers, fruits, whatever they can offer to monks and nuns, or the three jewels to the Buddha, to ask for merits. And it seems like, oh, you're asking for blessing, asking merits. What is your practice? Do you truly practice? But that's part of one of the practice is your heart want to be, transfer that merits to your loved one. That's just a pure practice, right? That's part of it. And other practice differ. We don't want to, that's out of the discussion, but here we talk about that heart wanting for others. And just that for a time. But then in 1962, during the wartime in Vietnam, and when Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh went to Princeton College in the West here to study comparative religion. And at the time, he was studying Japanese Zen as well. And there was one time he in the bookstore, and one of the friend of his friend came and offered him a rose, actually a carnation. It's a white carnation to put on his label, like a little pocket here, pin it on here. After she asked if he still has his mother or not. And he did not know what it meant until afterward he asked, and he realized that the white carnation means he had lost his mother. In Japanese tradition, there's a Mother Day in the second week of May. And so they have this tradition of pinning carnations, flowers, or giving flower to others. The red flower means you still have your mother, but the white means you lost your mother. And after he reflected on it, a deep sadness came to him that he lost his mother. He was an orphan, and he felt that immense regret and love for his mother, that he like, oh, before I had all that love, right? But that I didn't really recognize it until now. I really feel that love and missing my mother. And then he wrote his first mindfulness book called A Rose in Your Pocket, like this. And that's his first mindfulness book in the West, mindfulness teaching about if we mindful to look deeply, we can recognize all the happiness condition in us and the love and the care surrounding us. And we can live with that. And it was a beautiful little short pamphlet he wrote. I can read to you a short. He said this: when I was young, I was asked, what do you have to do when you love your mother and father? He said, I must obey them, help them, take care for them when they're old, pray for them when they get sick, and remember them to keep them on ancestral altar when they are gone. But all of those things he realized now as adult, what becomes superfluous. If you really love your mother or your father, you don't have to do anything. You just love them. That's enough. You don't have to really try to do anything. If you love them from your heart, just love them. That's enough. The work of dedication of a father, like great mountains. The loyalty and love of a mother, like clear spring water. So the thought of mother and father always bring up love, tenderness, connections for most of us. To some other, maybe not, something else. But generally that bring love because it's already innate, it's in us. It's sweet, tender, delicious. And without love, a child cannot live, flower, or develop. An adult cannot mature. Without love, we weaken and we become. And this has been researched, shown research articles and showing that children without affection, love, being cared, being touched, they are not developing well. And so the love from our mother and our father originally when we were young as an infant or someone raised us up, that love is like an innate, and we felt it, right? We really felt it. But then that is our first love. And then later on, we learn to love our neighbors, our friends. And if we practice deeper, we love the whole world, love all sentient beings, as in our Mahayana Buddhist practice. So I wonder, just inviting you to ask yourself a question. When you were young and you asked, if you were asked, what do you have to do when you love your mother and father? What would your answer be at that time? And now you ask again, at your current now present, what would you do for your mother and father, or the one who cared for you, nurture you, who helped you grow up when you were young? So with today is exactly August 18, right? Oh no, August Sunday 11. We have 1 week. I'm way ahead. I'm thinking in advance. I'm not here now. No, actually, I was thinking because August 18 is the day in Chinese lunar calendar. Next week is the exact date for Umnabana festival. But throughout this whole month, many monasteries and temples already celebrate this festival. And since 1962, when Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh wrote that a rose in the pocket article, it's so popular that it's become translated into almost 10 languages or more now. And it's a practice throughout the whole nation in Vietnam. It's become like a cultural revolution, and also practiced in the West, in Europe, in America. He twisted a little bit. So instead of the incarnation, he said rose. Because rose simplify for love. And it's the red color he still keep when we have parents still alive. And the white flower when we lost both parents. And the pink flower when we lost one parent. And so it's very meaningful to all of us who attend that ceremony celebration. And it really reflects on our love and connection to our parents, and know that where we come from, who we are, because our parents are in us. They still with us. They are in every cell. The genetic of our parents are in us. And we connect not only our parents, but our ancestors as well. Sometimes we may have difficulties with our parents. That's why I say not all of us sense a feel of love and affection when we talk about mom or dad. Because sometimes in our childhood, it wasn't good. And we have difficulties. But as practitioners of the way, we practice not to think that our parents don't love us. There's still love there. But maybe it's defected. But maybe not whole, not total, not what we sense. Or the love that we need from our parents is not being shown in a way that we want, in a way that we want to be expressed with, but our parents only know how to express in a different way, a different love language. So maybe some mistake or difficulties in our parents' past create layers of suffering that weigh down and obscure their love for us. And they're suffering because they don't know how to transform it. They're not able to transform their suffering. It transfers to our suffering. It transmits to us. And we transmit maybe to others. Have you noticed, if you think about, I know we have different age range generations here. I don't have my children. I don't have children, but many of us here have children, and many of us are not have children. But think about a time I invite those who have children. Think about a time, or those who have little nieces and nephews or working with children. Think about a time that by mistake or misunderstanding, or your own suffering of anger, of not understanding well, can cause you to transmit some of your unwholesome or your suffering to your children. Think about those moments. If we really reflect, I think most of us have done that. Or many times. And then we're like, oops, I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to say sorry to you, how to apologize so that you understand. I'm leading a lot of family retreats. Children and parents come together and I try to bring the generation to connect with each other through meaningful mindfulness practice and activities instead of video games and phones and computer. So we do a lot of connecting parents and children together. And last month I did one in North Carolina. And it was lovely to see that the children lead the parents blindfold, walking meditation around this angle. And the parents like, oh, don't let me fall. And the child, it's okay, walk, step over. And the child sometimes can do that for the parents. And the parents just trust their children for that. It's a vice versa. So the love for the child is also immense for the parents, but sometimes the child doesn't know how to express it the same way the parents know how to express it well. There was one story that Dean shared. There was a child and his mother sitting at the table, and there was 2 apples left for them on the table. And the child picked up one apple, bite one, pick up the other apple, bite, and just naturally enjoy chewing them, very mindful, right? Totally in the present. And his mother was like, oh, he doesn't care for me. He ate 2 apples. He doesn't even look at me. He's so mindful. He's so like devouring his apple. And then that story we shared to the kids, and we asked the kids, so what do you think why the child does that? And everyone else thinks the same thing as the mother, but one child said, what do you think?
That's one for mom.
Yes. Yes, he picked the best one for his mom and he said, Mom, this is the sweet one. So in Zen practice, we see teachers and students. We are vice versa, learning from each other, the Dharma, teaching each other, learning from each other, caring for each other. We have that capacity. And that's our Buddha nature too. We have that Buddha nature. So I just went on a Zen retreat, mountain Zen retreat with Ben, and a small group of us in Montana for a week, 6 days total. And I never done anything like that in my life. Maybe a weekend backpacking, but not 6 day backpacking in the mountains with 30 pounds backpack on and hiking the mountain for 5-6 hours a day or 9 miles, and live very simply, just very simply eating oatmeal for breakfast that I not fun with. No, Ben cooked great, but because my tummy doesn't, doesn't digesting oatmeal well. But Ben cooked very well and he cooked great. And so it was a great practice being in the mountains, in nature, and knowing that our needs are little, but our wants are a lot. We want this, we want that, we want comfy, we want comfort, we want whatever satisfies desire and needs, but we push away aversion, right? And so this retreat really helped me to practice to let go of my control of wanting things as my way. And really accept things as they are, just coming my way, accepting whatever food that Ben offer, I will eat. I would not think about trying to find, picking some fruits and vegetables to put in the dishes, just accepting. And we drink from the lake water and meditating at the lakeside, morning and in the evening. And when the phrase that I talked earlier, the work and the devotion of the father like great mountains, and the love of the mother like fresh, clear spring water, is really remind me of that when I see mountains and water, lakes, rivers, and streams. And when I go home back to at the end of the retreat, I felt I need to call my parents right away. So I called them, but unfortunately they were busy. But I really called them and really dedicate merits, my practice to them and other sentence beings as well. During the retreat, I realized one thing that is already in my mind and in my practice, but it become more solid and deepening my practice is one thing about what we already have, our Buddha nature. There was a friend, my tent mate. We shared a tent, and as we walk, hiking, she like wait. She was in front of me, and she stopped, and she tried to look under my feet, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, put down your feet. She just saw some object, and I took off my feet, and she found a rock, and she kept looking for rocks. And I don't know why she kept looking for rocks. I asked her and she said, I'm looking for rocks with heart shape. So I also found my one rock with heart shape. Yeah, I try to bring some home to remember. But when she said that, suddenly I realized, oh, treasure under my feet. Like that would be my topic, a theme for maybe my writing later, or this Dharma talk I'm going to share. Treasure under my feet. When we walk, we just think, we just walk, we're not paying attention, but we really pay attention. Actually, there's so many treasure under our feet and around us, already there. It's all the Dharma. Remember back at Upaya, during my residency there, one Roshi John Halifax always reminder of us. It's the enchanted land, New Mexico. And Roshi John Halifax remind us that every inch of land that we step on is sacred. And if we think about that, it's truly sacred, because how many generations of humans have been passed you that piece of soil, that land that you walk on, including here. We give thanks to the native Indians, to the founder of the country, to the people who built this place. Right now, right here, we sit. How many people have gone through this and practice and bring that energy and transfer that merit to others? It's so sacred. If we really think about and connect to that energy of the past, and we in the present will do that for the future. And so I was so touched by that. I'm like, treasure under my feet. My heart treasure. And what really is the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the three jewels, the three treasures that we usually chant and pray and devote ourselves to, but that's already in us. Buddha in us, Dharma in us manifesting, Sangha in us, we part of the Sangha. What else are we looking for? We don't need to go to the mountains to go to a refuge, to go to faraway place in Nepal or Tibet or to Japan to find Buddha, to find treasures, but it's here. However, go to these places, nice, reminding us. So don't forget that. It's the internal, external working together to remind us that, which I found so helpful. But remember, no matter how much we seek, we keep going out there, seeking outer external conditions to satisfy our need, our want of getting something. But we forgot the treasure in us. We forget that. So just returning to us, returning. So one part of this is sitting here when we meditate, we looking down at the floor, we facing each other, or when we don't have many, we sit facing the wall, right? So our Zen practice is facing, concentrate, calm, internal, inside, inner, self illumination, silent illumination. That's Zen practice. And our tradition, bamboo forest, very similar that way. Our Zen master, Thích Thanh Từ, who revived the Vietnamese Zen with the bamboo forest tradition, he say a similar way of practice. Observing back at oneself is the fundamental obligation. Nothing is attained from outside. So that is the main kind of like the model of our practice, and kind of similar. He just sit and inner self-illumination, silent illumination. So when I was at the lake, I never sit and meditate at the lake before. In Vietnam, as I was a child, I sit at the pond, a small pond, and I remember I was less than 10, and I saw the pond is very calm with the coconut over the pond and this cloud, and at the afternoon I saw the cloud go by and I see the reflection of whatever up there imprinting back and it's gone. And at that time I look up the coconut tree and I ask, for somehow I was thinking about the mind. I was like, oh, our mind is like a coconut fruit. And we have a skull, right? Hair, and inside the white meat. And I haven't studied anatomy the time of the human brain, but I kind of imagine inside is like that, very juicy, very nice, like a gift inside. And outside is hair, the skull, and they are kept in that. So each coconut is different, and each mind is being, each brain is mind, is head, is being bound with this skull and separate from other coconuts. And at that time, I had some problem with my parents. I was like, why don't my parents understand me? Why do they scold at me, right? I was like, I wonder if there's a way that our mind can read other people's mind and can see each other's mind and understand each other. Why don't they understand me? They cause me so much pain. I'm suffer. I was like, exaggerating at the time. And so I had that thought. But here, the lake reminds me of that. When I sit in front of the lake, I try to absorb everything that's happening in front of me, my sight. So it was overwhelming at first because I get used to facing the wall and nothing happened, just the sound around me. But this was the sound, the sight, the smell, the colors, all the senses was really overwhelming in the meditative mode. And the wave of the lake was like in and out, and the pebbles in front of me, different colors. I want to collect them all. And so I'm like, oh, this is hard. But after a while, I just let it be and just like open and receive everything and let it absorb in me. And it was nice to see that how I can keep that stillness with the wave of the water and all the action. I saw fish jumping up to eat the flies, which I first time saw in my life. I haven't seen that. I asked them like, why the fish here are so joyful? Dancing and jumping. And then I saw, after that, it was interesting. I saw osprey come over, pick up the fish in the hook and fly off in the distance. It's like the circle of life. And yes, there is some tenderness, some pain there. One animal, one life depends on others to survive. But there's some beauty in it. And with all that energy, my realization and my connection, I was calm and still. And yet there's also other moments when the surface of the lake was so still. When it's more darker, at like in the evening, darker down, the sun start goes down. It's so still like a mirror. And you could see all the different colors and shape of the pebbles underneath of that stillness. It was amazing, like a mirror, and it's like really reflecting. Then my mind was calm and then it's active again. It's active and asking questions. So you can really see the wave and motion, stillness and motions always work together. We cannot just want stillness, or we cannot just on motion and think that it will not help us, but really accept, observe, then welcome everything and push away nothing, like we were being reminded sometimes when we come to the Zen practice. Welcome everything and push away nothing. And it's the same thing as our parents. We welcome them for who they are, even though we have difficulties with them. Maybe in the past, we have problems with them, or maybe some even trauma. But how can we practice accepting them for who they are and loving them just purely from our heart? Can we love them like when our parents kept 9 months pregnant? When our mom 9 months pregnant, so bad, and give birth to us, that can cause life-threatening conditions. And they love us just out natural. They hold us, feed us, breast us, nurture us. We pee, we do all of those dirty stuff. We whine, we cry, and they still not complaining much. But they clean. But when our parents are old, when they are not able to remember, they ask many questions and we get annoyed. Why did you ask this question again? Or when they crumble and they weaken, their food fall out and we get annoyed, we have to clean up. Why don't we think of the time when we were little, our parents cleaned up for us? And then we do something so that our generation after us, our children, they can see in us, feel our unconditional love for them. But it's okay, sometimes we don't have that feeling or that love or that affection. It's okay. Because we're human, we're not perfect, right? And we just accept who we are as well and just say, it's okay, I feel anger, I feel irritated. But during my retreat, I don't have children, but I love playing with the children and interact and teaching the children. And somehow, I don't know if the children here in the children program do this. Somehow they love the round cushion. They come and they play, they throw, they roll. They just, no matter how many times I remind them, do not touch. It's the place where the Buddha sit. You sit, meditate, it's sacred. Do not play with them, do not show them. But somehow they forget and they play again. And they build fort and houses. And every temple, every program I go to, they all do that. I was irritated and I caught myself like, oh. I need to watch inner reflection, illuminating my own feelings and emotions. Don't let that become anger. Don't let that out. Deep breath. Oh, they're innocent. They play. They have a great time. They're joyful. Let's just join in with that. I actually took some picture of them building fort and crawl into their fort and try to take a nap. And that was nice. Really let go of my sense of control, want to be neat, want to be quiet, and really go with the flow of what is arising in the moment. Thích Nhật Hạnh say, our parents are Buddhas. Don't go looking for the Buddhas anywhere else. Return home and love our parents. It's like treasure right under your feet. Our parents are Buddha. What else can you spread love, Mahayana, compassion to the love of your dearest one? Your parents or your children or your care, or those who care for you or love you, or those surrounding you. Not thinking about saving all sentient beings. That's something else. but how can we express love to the one who are next to us, to the here and now? How can we express love for that? And it's not only our parents, but all the people around us that we in contact and we don't know. The Lakota expression, all my relatives or all my relations, I learned a lot from that. And in this trip, I think one of Ben Dharma talk was, there was I heard this a few times, but this time it's really settled with me. There was a monk who went into, or was a man who in the mountains, and deep in the mountain there lived an old lady, and this man asked, "Don't you feel lonely by living here alone?" The old lady was practicing there alone, and the lady said, "All mountain trees, all these animals, they are all my relatives." Can we connect to that? This is my relatives, my cushion. So I found my most connected relative during the trip beside the mountains, the rivers, the streams, the lakes, are the pebbles, are the rocks. Keep searching for rocks. I feel connected to them. Somehow, to me, it's a sense of stability, solidity, and with, it's not only just rock. It's not a rock itself. It's made up of many things, minerals, but it also has water in here. It also has space and fire that make it become a rock. All the elements in here, right? And it's so interesting that you see the rocks in the stream, the rivers, the lakes, they are smooth. Like some of them round, they're different shape, but they're smooth. Water, flow, gentle flow, little by little, can smooth out the rock. All the rough edges become smooth through the flow of water, day by day, years by years. I asked the rock, "How old are you?" I had no answer. So interesting to see different rocks, so beautiful, different texture. And I don't know how old are they. They may be since ancient time. Maybe a Zen master walking through them before, enlightened being walking through them before, and now I am in touch with them again. Yeah. So water, through small drop, can fill the glass. And our practice too, continuous practice, day by day, every time, not even day by day, moment by moment, continuous practice, not just sitting meditation, but also in walking, in eating, in being with each other, presence, connecting, in sitting here, in talking, listening, is also part of the continuous practice. And you will be surprised when you have that surprise aha moment of realization somehow, a little aha moment. Like, wow, it's come out nowhere. I'm not prepared for it. I'm not asking for it. It just comes and I see and I feel connected. And I learn something from it. And I feel lived. Oh, 10:49. 6 more minutes. Can I read you a poem and then I leave for quick questions? A poem, I really love this poem. I want to share with you. It's called, in Italian, it's called Regina di Fiori e di Perli. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But it's the Queen of Flowers and Pearls. I collect flowers and pearls. Flowers of all kinds, large, small, invisible, anonymous. Flowers with bright colors like the imperial sun, and others with soft colors like a spring breeze. Fragrant flowers and flowers hold secret fragrance, recount stories to the soul. I collect pearls and flowers, pearls of all kinds, shiny, perfect, imperfect, white, pink, black, hidden pearls and invisible pearls. I collect flowers and pearls from the enchanted garden of my land. I connect with this because I collect rocks in the different shapes and colors, and they like pearls to me. And I love flowers. I love gardening as well. And I thought this when I first received this poem from my friend, I really loved it. I wrote it down. So I invite you of what are your flowers and pearls that you're collecting, the external and the internal. How you collect that, and flowers and pearls. Flowers can be also dying flowers, flowers in the garbage as well, flower in the compost. Not just the beautiful flowers, but flowers with no scent or with unpleasant scent. Or pearls with like sharp, edgy rocks, no one want to look and step on. How do you collect those in your lives and make the most out of it and enjoy those? I'm asking myself that question, and it's cooking in me, and I'm practicing with it, and I'm inviting you to do similar if you like. And thank you. So any question? Open to question. Friends online. I hope you're doing well.
Cody, do you have a question?
Yes. Cody, raise your hand. Okay, go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, sister, for this talk. It feels very timely for me as I lost my mom 12 years ago from last week. And so this time period always is a little bit, I always feel that loss a little bit more. So this feels really timely. And it was really difficult actually, because it was very sudden. And my mom passed just 6 months before my son was born, and I really wanted them two to meet. But your talk brought up for me some feelings of resistance that I sort of have to honoring her. Not because of her necessarily, but just because of the pain that's still sort of there, and it kind of inspires me to want to do a little bit better in that area. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you, Cody, for sharing from your heart. Yeah, losing a mom, the grief that we go through can be years. Sometimes that grief can come back unexpectedly without our knowing. And thanks to our Zen practice that we're able to sense into that grief and stay with it, aware of it, and connected to that deeply, and let it go through us in a natural way as much as possible. That brings healing. I know that when we talk about when mother or father, we talk about that bring out love, but then some of us bring out difficult emotions. And not some, but no, many too. And we don't want to push away, even though our tendency is wanting to push away, ignore those. But how can we send deeply into that difficult emotions? To stay with it and asking ourselves, what does this mean for me? That Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh said one of his retreat, the son already had his father who abused him, and the father already passed. And he grown up so so much hard feeling toward his father, and even the name of the father, even say father, he already feel all of these inside him. But then through the practice of reconciliation, Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh offered to write a letter to his father. Even though his father died, probably would not receive the letter. But through the process of writing the letter and sharing from your heart what you feel, how your heart, the good quality you recognize in your father, the love you felt before, and how that process and what you hope to mend that relationship, what you hope to reconcile, actually is a healing process. And that worked for him. He wrote a letter. He sent to the universe. Maybe his father, somewhere in some realm, maybe no, who knows? But I also do this kind of letter writing in my retreat for children and parents. And some children have a lot of difficulty with their parents. They cannot talk to their parents. But I ask them to write, and they're able to write it out. And that letter never sent to their parents. But through that process and open up that wound, it's healing starting. So I just want to share that part with you, Cody, and everyone here. If you sometime want to write letter, a reconciliation letter of love.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, I think we are finishing right now.